Thank you for being here today, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Mind Your Own Business. We have the distinct pleasure of having Andy Kill here from Optimize Investments. You can see his email right behind him, along with a very cool model that we are going to cover in a few weeks at our LinkedIn Live. But it's important that you meet Andy, as he's one of the really innovative business executives here in Southern Arizona. So Andy, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah. So I see all those numbers behind you, and I want to get to those, but you talk to business owners, CEOs right now. And this is a time that's almost chaotic. We had the pandemic, and we thought that was trying, and now we've thrown fuel prices, inflation, political unrest, war in Russia, and potentially nuclear conflict. So it's gotten a little more complicated. What are people talking about? What are you hearing?
Well, I'm hearing a fair amount of fear in the market, as I'm sure most of us are, fear and uncertainty, which leads us pretty much back to wanting to look for safety and security when it comes to our money and investments.
And you have a pretty significant history in helping investors get a guaranteed safe return. Without going into all the numbers behind you, talk a little bit about what that value is. How is it that you do what you do?
Well, in a nutshell, we are a private equity company that invests in single-family homes for safe, secure, long-term cash flow. And we're able to basically help a few select clients along the way with that process. So we can certainly talk about that more in the longer episode coming up, but that's what we do in a nutshell. We're a private equity company that helps investors get great rates of return.
And what I've found interesting is who you serve. When you think about one of the big business stories right now, it's been called the Great Resignation or the Great Search for Meaning, where many employees have moved into owning their own businesses, providing services, etc. And those individuals oftentimes are exactly who you work with.
Yeah, and what a great group of folks to work with. As self-employed or business owners, generally we're the hardest working group out there. Everything's on the line, everything's at risk with our businesses. And from a lending point of view, most banks look at us and say, well, you don't have a W-2, you're a bad risk.
Right.
So that opens up a huge segment of the market for us to serve, where we can help these folks own a home where otherwise the bank says no.
Yeah.
On the other side, we help a lot of these folks that are higher income earners play money so they can actually get good rates of return and the tax benefits that go along with real estate.
So in a way, if you think about it, this is almost democracy at work, where those who are, high income earners in the private sector are filling a gap that the banks essentially have ignored, and helping those who are out there trying to build the American dream, if you will, to get that first house.
Yes.
Yeah, that must feel good to be able to do that for a living. That's pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun. We very much like what we do.
Yeah. Well, and I would say it's something to really be proud of, that you are helping others. And if you're like me, that's what life is about. And you provide, one of the most basic things that people are promised, if you will, in America is the opportunity to own your own place. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we have the banks actually created the opportunity because of lending guidelines, and it makes no sense. A person working at like a Walmart getting a W-2 with a 620 credit score has a better chance of getting a loan than we actually had this scenario not long ago. A self-employed dentist, he just bought his own practice 18 months prior. Wanted to put $200,000 down on a $600,000 home. Bank said no, because he didn't have 2 years of business ownership. He'd been a dentist for 10 plus years and bought a practice from a retiring dentist, made insane amounts of money, and wanted to put 33% down on the house, but they wouldn't give him a loan. Yet the person working at Walmart with the 620 credit score and 3% down, you're approved. So
It is a crazy world.
Crazy world we live in, but that's the opportunity that is given back to us, and we have an opportunity to serve situations like that.
Well, I know that you do take on a few select investors, so I'd be remiss, and I know we go into much more detail behind you, but that 15%, it looks big. How would I reach you if I wanted to just connect with you?
Best way to reach me is by phone, and my cell phone number direct to me is 520-539-9591, or my email address is right behind me on the board here, optimizeinvestmentsinc@gmail.com, which is our full business name.
Perfect. And I know you're on LinkedIn as well, and so easy to find there too.
It's Andy-Keel, I believe is my LinkedIn.
Perfect. Well, great. It's wonderful to have you here. And we're doing this on a Saturday. So Andy is one of those hardworking entrepreneurs that we've just got through talking about. We're both in here working Saturday, but I appreciate your time, and also thank you for what you're doing. It's really a cool thing to hear about. It's one of those kind of businesses that makes you feel better about, doing business in the U.S.
Thanks for having me again, Steve. Appreciate it.
All right. You take care.
You too.
All right. See you, everybody.